I wanted to do a quick video here on an issue that I'm having with my Yamaha 704 remote control. This is it's a 99 Scout, so the controller is a likely original. I've only had the boat for about 7 years, so I'm not 100% sure, but and I don't know the actual model number of this one as well, but I know from kind of the schematics and the drawings I've looked at of most of the 704 remotes, they seem like they produced a pretty similar product for a while with some small changes. So this should apply to most of the 704 mechanical controllers. Hopefully this may help with some other brands as well. But the problem I'm having when I rotate, or when I push forward on my throttle handle here, I have a clicks into basically like an idle speed or like a no wake speed, and then after that, pushing forward, it's kind of grabby. As you can kind of see, it's pretty hard to push, and so when I'm pushing on my throttle, it's almost like it kind of grabs and releases and grabs. You can tell there's some sort of friction issue with the internals, and so what I did is I pulled this thing out just to take a look at it, and was trying to figure out what was going on. So again, my handle here from an idle or neutral and idle to the forward click of idle speed or no wake speed is smooth. Everything after that is real grabby all the way up to full throttle. So I recently took this apart just to be able to tighten up the tension on the throttle, because I was having problems where when I would push the throttle forward, it would just fall backwards. A lot of videos on that. You can just tighten this tension screw right here, and that'll keep your throttle engaged. So in order to remove this, let's go over that real quick. I pushed, these are my throttle and shifter cables right here, so I was able to push those in through the tubing. They push up here. They actually came up, which was surprising. So gave me a little bit of slack, and I was able to get this whole controller out of the hole in the console here. And then the brackets, there's a bracket here that holds this cover on, so I removed that bracket. I did have some sheared off screws here that I will so I tried to remove the cover. It's got 4 screws here, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. When I went to turn those screws, they just sheared right off. So all 4 of them sheared off. I ordered new parts. 2 of these, there's the exact same part. I ordered these from my Yamaha dealer. They're coming from Japan. So get some anti-seize in here, get some new screws, and that way it'll hold my cover on. So anyway, once you get that bracket off the side here, 2 Phillips head screws, and you got this cover here. It's got 1, 2, 3 Phillips head screws here, and you can pull this cover off. So the internals here, this is after I've actually worked on this. So what I found was, this is your throttle arm. So there's a bushing here, and then it connects to this metal piece here, and then it connects to your throttle cable, and then your shifter cable as well is connected to this part here. So this is the throttle cable right here. This is the throttle arm, as they call it. Now this part, you have your tension screw right here. This provides a tension to 2 little metal bands, I'll call them, that go around a bushing here. And so the more tension you provide, the more tension you're putting on this bushing. And so really what I did is I took the C-clip out. I took this C-clip out as well. I did remove this cover as well to get this metal piece right here out. And then I pulled my throttle arm out. Really simple task. And then I just greased everything with lithium grease, white lithium grease. And so I had, it looked like it was factory original lithium grease in there. It was almost like peanut butter. It was not providing the lubricant that it needed to. So all fresh lithium grease in there, and put it all back together. and it was working a lot smoother. Everything was much smoother from your idle speed forward. Still a little bit, the throttle was still falling back though. So it's still falling back. So I kept applying tension here to keep the throttle engaged. But the only balance that I could find where my throttle would stay forward was really tight. I mean, it was like you had to put a whole lot of force behind the throttle arm to get it going. Obviously, you know, young kids or like my wife wants to drive the boat, it's pretty difficult to get that throttle all the way up there. And then if she wants to slow down quickly, you know, that's really the most important part. So, you know, if you want to slow down quickly, there's a lot of tension, a lot of pull. You gotta yank on that throttle. So I didn't like that either. So what I did is I went hunting, and it looks like the 704, it looks like they changed the design of the throttle arm. So I'm gonna take these apart. I got a new part for this throttle arm. I'm gonna take this apart, and I'll show you kind of how everything works, and then I'll show you how the new throttle arm is different from the old one. And then I'll put the new throttle arm in, and then you know, test it out, and then we'll let you know if that's a good fix for me. But yeah, stay tuned. All right, all 4 screws removed. So yeah, take this part. You can see I put fresh lithium grease on all the mating surfaces, or where there will be any sort of friction. So just, that's all from me recently being in here. I just wanted, you know, now I figured everything out, I'm gonna go ahead and make this video. So I got some split ring pliers here. Just remove that C-clip. And then we have another C-clip here. I haven't really figured out the best way to do this, but what I usually do is kind of push out like this. There's probably a tool for this, but I just do it this way. Put the camera down. All right, so got that C-clip out. Then this metal piece right here, that'll come right on out. So I got lithium grease all on that, lithium grease in there as well. So this is this part here actually connects all the way through to your throttle arm. And so this is part of when you push that throttle arm forward or backwards, that will cause this plate to go down, and that actuates your throttle cable here. So that's moving up and down like that. So put some lithium grease all on that. Then my throttle cable, got the C-clip out there. And then to my throttle arm right here. So, you know, when the actual issue that I was having, where it, you know, you get it into gear and it just kind of like, it's real sticky. You should be able to feel that right here. So you can see that, like, kind of see how it just kind of like requires a lot of force, and then it just kind of like skips back and forth. So that's your issue right here. It's this friction in this area right here. So what you need to do to get that out is, the last step is to release some tension right here with a flathead, and then you'll be able to pull this whole throttle arm out. All right, so I'm gonna release a little bit of tension here. I'm gonna go turn it left or counterclockwise. Yep. And then here, pull your whole throttle arm, slide right on out. So there's the throttle arm. I put lithium grease on it. If you really look closely, it's probably hard to see. I just have an iPhone here, but it's probably hard to see with this thing. The bushing, you can tell, is pretty worn. I took some sandpaper to it, tried to clean up the surface, but it's you can tell it's worn. I mean, it's 22 years old. But here's your kind of bands I was talking about before. You can tighten the tension up on those, and that will tighten the tension up on your throttle arm. So what I did is I got a different throttle arm, so I'll grab that. All right, so whole throttle arm. See, it's got a bushing that's, I guess, pressed in here. It's not replaceable. So as far as I know, it's not replaceable. I don't really have the tools or capability, or I couldn't even find a part. Like this whole thing right here is a part. And when I go and order it from a Yamaha dealer, the part number they give me is actually this part number right here. So I don't know if this was superseded. Maybe someone knows. This is the new design. It still has a plastic bushing, but this bushing here is metal. So if you look at them, I mean, everything's the exact same size. They're completely interchangeable. Diameters are the same. The diameters of the pins that connect to each cable are the same. And so, you know, what I'm hoping for, this is a replaceable bushing. What I'm hoping for is that this will improve the mechanics of this controller. So I'm gonna go ahead and grease everything up, replace this throttle arm here. This is the new one. I'm gonna put this one in, and then I'm gonna give it a little test here in the garage, and then I'll go out on the water, hopefully this weekend, do some fishing and play with the tension, kind of see what this does for me. But I'll have the part number in the comments, or I'll have it in the description. This one I found used on eBay, about 20 bucks, and like $5-8 shipping, something like that. My local Yamaha dealer wanted it was like $70 for this thing. So it's funny how some of these little Yamaha parts are just really expensive. Don't manufacture a high quantity of them. I don't know. But anyway, if someone knows if these two parts, if this maybe is the new 704 superseded part number versus this, I could see where having a replaceable bushing would be beneficial versus having to replace this entire arm. But we'll see. We'll see what this does. I'll report back. All right, I got the new part in. Before I connected it here, put any of the clips on, I just made sure the tolerances were the same and it fit exactly where my old one did. And the old throttle arm bumps in right here. This one does as well. So just liberal amount of lithium grease, and this feels pretty smooth. But I'm gonna connect everything up, tighten it up, and just kind of see how the throttle feels. All right, so got everything back together. The only thing I don't have on is the Binnacle cover. Initial thoughts, I mean, this thing is smooth. A lot better than it was before. So a very, very big improvement. I'm really happy with it. I mean, very little effort to go up there, and it stays where it's supposed to stay. So now, of course, when I first got everything back together, used my flathead to adjust the tension here. So I just found the sweet spot of, you know, how tight I need it to keep it from falling back down. And so, I mean, it's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna get it on the water and test it, and hope that this is a big improvement. And you know, it feels good. Feels really good. So yeah, happy with it. All right, quick water test, man. This thing is awesome. Super smooth, super easy. I probably need to tighten it a hair. It's holding pretty good. In certain areas it falls back, but man, I'm so happy with this. It's just like super easy and super smooth. So I would absolutely recommend this upgrade. I'll put the part number down in the description, and you guys can find this thing. But man, it's a world of difference. I mean, it's like a whole new console, a whole new Binnacle, man. I love it.